We also do know what the Bills' schedule looks like. I'm sure that you've seen the schedule circulating online. The Bills released it. We've got it up on our website. You got to mark your calendars now, maybe plan your days off of work because there's lots of night games, and that means early the next morning. And if you want to go to the night games on a Monday or on a Thursday, you might have to take off from work. So let's divulge. Let's look at all of it right now. They're opening on the road in Houston. We're going to pull up the graphic. We can have Vic talk about it with us too. But yeah, opening in Houston, short turnaround to open the new Highmark Stadium. The first game at home is a Thursday night game. Primetime matchups on Channel 2 will be Thanksgiving night when the Bills host the Chiefs here at home. Then the second primetime game will be here on Channel 2 will be a Sunday night showdown in Green Bay in the middle of December. Other primetime games include a trip to LA for Monday Night Football in October. They host the Bears at 8:20 on December 19th, which is a Saturday game. 6 days later, the Bills will be playing in Denver on Christmas, the first time in Bills history that they've played on Christmas Day. That's a 4:30 game. Bye week is week 7, which is probably a good thing since they've got those long trips to LA and Vegas in weeks 5 and 6 right before. But to break it all down for us, tell us about the gauntlet at the end of the season.
Look at the gauntlet at the beginning of the season.
Right. 4 of the 5 first games are all playoff teams.
Right.
So Vic is here with us now. We've talked about it a little bit so far, but Vic, what do you think about this schedule?
There are no two ways about it. Again, the toughness is always measured by last year's accomplishments of all the teams, and that would include the Bills, of course. But here are the 2 factors at work here. You get a schedule like this with 6 primetime games with these standalone opportunities in the spotlight, and of course doing so with the home games in a new stadium. You get those because Josh Allen is the quarterback. But how this team will manage or handle that very difficult challenge is going to be uncertain because there's a first-year head coach, 36-year-old Joe Brady, pushing the buttons. So the consistent success they've had for the better part of 9 seasons under Sean McDermott carried over into the making of the schedule. But the great unknown is how it's all going to look with a new coaching staff in place.
So, all right. When I looked at that schedule, I saw maybe 2 little weaknesses. The Raiders and the Jets Raiders and the Dolphins are back to back, and then you have another Jets Miami back to back. But other than that, you've got like these 5-game chunks where victory is not guaranteed, right?
Oh, do we still have Vic? Did we lose him?
You said it well. I heard you guys before. I'm sorry, the beginning of the season, these first 5 games, 4 you mentioned were playoff teams, but all 5 are viewed as teams that are going to contend for the playoffs right off the bat. The other challenge, if you want to look at it from top to bottom, they got 4 sequences of back-to-back road games, 4 times. Only twice are they going to be back-to-back at home. So the travel aspect of it, the night game aspect of it, recovery, all of those types of things. And then, 2 of these trips that they're going to have are out west in Los Angeles and Vegas. And so maybe the Raider game, given they're this rebuilding team under a first-year head coach themselves, could be a little bit of a break. But I don't see much break here. And the holiday games factor into it. Think about that as much as we all probably think about our own lives and the disruption of holidays. Players, coaches, they're human too. They kind of like a little bit of holiday time like the rest of us.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too. As Josh Allen is a first-time father and probably wants to be with his family on Thanksgiving and celebrate his daughter's first Christmas. Is that going to be in a hotel room in Denver? I mean, she's too little to
They'll
really
get a little chalet in Estes Park. They'll be just fine.
I mean, Vic, you have to work on Christmas and Thanksgiving. And I know what it's like for my son's father to be working and to be away. And we never wanted a Christmas game because we wanted the family to be together. So, yeah, that human element of, for the team and the players and everyone on the staff. And all of the TV stations. There's so many people whose lives are disrupted by holiday games. But yeah, a Thanksgiving game for all of the fans who might be tailgating with, having Thanksgiving dinner in a parking lot could be kind of fun also for the fans.
Oh, it's going to be very interesting tailgating with, turkeys being fried, and I'd be very careful while, maneuvering around that, by the way. But here's the thing, Melissa, you said that. The family, I signed up, when I signed up to be an NFL writer going way back to the late 70s, and that's how long I've been doing this stuff. Our lives, my wife and I and our family, our kids, you plan it around football. Again, so many others, you've lived that experience too. And it was accepted that the holidays these two major holidays of Thanksgiving and Christmas fall into football season, and football people, anybody knows it, understands it. You plan around it, you deal with it, and it just is. So I long ago accepted that reality of it, but I've heard it discussed by players, coaches through the years, how we think about it as, well, hey, look, you're getting well paid to play a game, well paid to coach a game. Don't whine about the holidays, but you just deal with it.
Hey, Vic, what about the international games? I'm actually kind of surprised that the Bills weren't selected to play one of the many international games this year. Do you think that we can kind of expect that for next year?
I would say so, absolutely. I feel like this year, given that they had 8 home regular season games versus the 9 that they had last year, I think there was a sense of trying to make sure, first of all, that they were at home, and that their home game was going to be played at Highmark Stadium. But the goal of this league, you've heard it over and over again, and I think I've said it with you guys, by Commissioner Roger Goodell, to have 16 international games every year. That means every team basically involved in the international circuit. The global reach of this league is something that is very high on the agenda, because there is extremely strong revenue to be had from that. So will we ever see a time when there are internationally based teams, a European division that's been talked about and thought about? There are a lot of complications to making that happen, the obvious ones we know, but the short of that, if you at least set it up where all the teams play at least one game overseas, that's the NFL's maybe best compromise to accomplish the revenue goal there. Because like the game in Australia, selling out in minutes, and then the secondary market tickets going, for massive money.
Yeah. I have a quick question. So Vic, speaking of travel, Australia is one thing. But just about the Bills' travel this season compared to last year, there was a lot of talk about how the Bills did not have to travel very far. They had all of their away games were kind of close to home. This year, very different. Does that 5-hour cross-country trip, which they'll do twice, or maybe they just group it into one, is there a real impact on the team and the coaches? I mean, or is that more just like, well, it's a travel like anybody else has to deal with? Or can it really have an impact?
Well, no. Yeah, I think it has an impact, but I think you prepare for that impact. And look, from the earliest days that I covered this game, like I said, starting in the 70s to what I see now, a lot is done with having folks on staff, and every team has this. You're talking about a multi-billion-dollar industry that can invest in the people who monitor diets, monitor sports science solutions to, trying to have players take the best care of themselves, and monitoring them, through the week. And then the travel experience, trying to make that as comfortable and as much of a secondary issue as just the game. So how you get to the game, make that as easy as possible. But there's always something. It's never really totally easy. We know travel, even in the charter world, it can be challenging, weather delays and so on and so forth. So you never really know what you're going to run into. But here's the thing you said about the trips. 3 of their 4 longest are in the first 6 weeks of the season. That's something to look at. And now you could say, well, they're getting it out of the way at the beginning, sure, but that's a thing. And then look at weeks 13 through 17, 4 out of 5 games on the road. So you guys were talking about brutal start, and I think Melissa said brutal finish. That's where that comes in. Brutal may be too strong a word, but certainly challenging.
Yeah. And Vic, I know we're wrapping up real quickly, but just do you have any thoughts on the Bills changing from GR 550 to 97 Rock? Can you also help us understand why they would do that, and what are your thoughts on it?
Sure. I mean, very simply, my understanding, of course, this all started when the Bills are taking all the broadcast in-house to an app. But they need, under league rules, terrestrial radio affiliation. And in Buffalo, that switched from WGR to 97 Rock because they let all these stations bid on it. Now, my understanding is Cumulus Broadcasting, which owns 97 Rock. I thought I read somewhere in an industry newsletter that this Good Karma Radio, Greg Karmazin, might be moving in corporately to take that over. That would be, I think, a pretty big windfall for that station, for that company, I should say, which owns 97 Rock. That could be an interesting dynamic here too. But all it came down to, I'm going way out on a limb. Who paid the most money? It's just pretty simple.
Okay.
But how can Cumulus do that if they're in a bankruptcy situation? You know, I mean, that's
now if they're being taken over.
Now if that answers that question. Yeah.
That's why I brought up.
Yeah.
That's why I brought up the other company coming into play. And many years ago, guys, I did the pregame and postgame when 97 Rock. Do you guys remember? 97 Rock had the Bills radio rights years ago.
All right, Vic, thank you so much for your insight, your history. We really appreciate everything that you can share with us to break down the Bills schedule and everything Bills related as we're wrapping up Sabre season right now.
Uncle Vic, thank you.
All right, Vic, thanks. And stay with us. We'll be right back after this quick break.